Hi, friends. My name is Brianna, and welcome back to Brianna's Bookshelf. If you're new here, I am a reader, and my favorite genres are horror and fantasy. And today we're going to be doing my May wrap up. I've read 8 books so far in the month of May. I normally don't like to do my wrap ups early, but we're doing it a little bit early this month because I have a busy weekend coming up. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to read, and we're just going to get this out of the way. It's possible I might read another book. If so, I will include it in next month's wrap up. And during May, I have been participating in Escape the Readathon, which is a competitive team based readathon hosted by Lexi from Books with Lexi. And this has been so much fun and has definitely increased the amount of books that I was able to finish this month. It really upped my motivation. So that's been exciting. Also, very random update, but I just came back from Hawaii and I got this little kitty there and I'm obsessed with her. So she is now living with me on my bookshelf so that she can hang out with me while I read. And her name is Plumera, like the flower, and I'm obsessed with her. So I like to do my reading wrap ups from lowest rated to highest rated. So let's get on into it. Starting with our lowest rated book of May, that was Overgrowth by Mira Grant, coming in at a 2-star. This is a big disappointment for me because this is the second Mira Grant book I've read, and the first one, Into the Drowning Deep, was a 5-star, and I absolutely loved it. So this was a big disappointment, unfortunately. This was marketed as horror sci-fi. However, I didn't feel like there was a lot of horror elements in it. We're basically following this girl who, since childhood, has known that she is an alien placed to live on Earth in a human body. And everywhere she goes, she tells everyone this and that her species is coming back to invade Earth. But this book was honestly just way too long. And like the mood was never threatening. Like there was like this very casual, like jovial mood about the aliens coming, which I just honestly didn't get at all. And it was a lot of focus on the relationships, which is totally fine. It's just very different from what I expected. And it was a little bit of a slog to get through and did not feel very exciting to me. I did, however, enjoy the alien biology. So if you're into that kind of thing, you might like this. But again, you're going to have to read a lot of other stuff to get into that. The alien biology was like a little on the light side in my opinion. Then coming in at a 3-star, I read Another by Paul Tremblay. I was really excited to read this because I love Paul Tremblay's books historically, and this was good. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I did not realize that Another is actually a middle grade book, middle grade horror, so I would recommend knowing that before you go in. I did actually have a lot of fun with it though. I wasn't like super passionate about it. We're following Casey, a young boy. He's like in elementary school, and this is taking place like post pandemic. So he's very socially isolated. He's had like issues at school. And then his parents have this old rotary phone, like one of those old school like dial up phones, and it's not even plugged into the wall. But his parents get a call on it from someone asking if their kid can have a play date with Casey. So immediately that's ringing some alarm bells, like why is the unplugged phone ringing? But they agree to this play date, and the kid is dropped off by this random man, and the kid is like a clay mannequin in a freaking bag, and they drop him off, and then he just like stays with the family for a while, and it's super super creepy. Honestly, now that I'm talking about the premise, I'm like, this was so fun. I think this was like a me problem of just like the mood I was in when I was reading it. But it's a really fun premise and definitely creepy. But yeah, more on the middle grade side for sure. But I'd recommend reading it if you think that premise sounds interesting. I think a lot of people would like this, especially if you're okay with reading middle grade. Then at a 3.5-star, I read The Crypt of the Moon Spider, which is by Nathan Ballingrud, I believe. And I hadn't heard too much about this. I feel like I might have seen someone say that they read it a long time or like a while back, but I don't remember who. And it's like this short little novella, and it's extremely gothic. It's basically historical gothic that takes place in like the 1920s, but it's kind of sci-fi or like futuristic at the same time because we're in this version of the 1920s where people are able to easily travel to the moon and back. And our main character She is being sent to an institution, as you know, many women in this day unfortunately were when they had any sort of emotional problems. So her husband's sending her to an institution, but this institution is on the moon. And she honestly doesn't mind that much to start with because she has always wanted to go to the moon. She's very interested in it. She has like dreamt about it since she was a child, just staring up at it. And so she's super excited to go there, even though she has hesitancy, obviously, about going to this institution. And once she's there, shit gets weird. Basically, there's like this species of spiders that lived on the moon that are kind of briefly mentioned. We don't get a ton of lore about it, but we're told that these scientists went to study these spiders on the moon. Now the spiders are dead, and this institution is just super creepy. She meets other people that live there. They're getting treatment of like different types of therapies. She's also kind of ignored for a long time. And then they get into like lobotomy type stuff. So super duper creepy and very gothic. It's a little bit like meandering and not quite straightforward, like a little bit trippy. So if you like that kind of thing, I think you'll like this. If you like a book to be more straightforward, you may not, because yeah, it's a little on the trippier side, but I thought it was really good and it was a fun novella. I think that it just like it could have been better. I don't really have any like specific complaints. It just wasn't my favorite thing, but I did have a lot of fun reading it and I feel like it's super unique, so I liked that a lot. Moving on, I did finally finish Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb this month, and I had a really good time with it. I am going to rate it 4 stars. And this is the last book in the Farseer trilogy, and I'm so happy to have read this trilogy. I really, really loved it. I don't know why. I feel like I don't. Oh, this book is so floppy. I'm obsessed with how floppy this is. But anyhow, this series, I don't think I gave any of the books 5 stars. I feel like they were all either 4 or 4.5. But the series as a whole, like the trilogy, feels like a 5 star series or like a favorite to me. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys. Please let me know because that feels weird to say, but that is how I feel. I loved, loved, loved this series, even though the individual books were like none of them were perfect to me. In this series, we're following Fitz, and he is the bastard of this kingdom, and he is raised to be an assassin. And in the first book, we're kind of following him growing up, and then of course things branch out from there. I can't get into exactly what this is about since this is the third book in the series. But we were going on a journey in this book, and it was a really fun time. And some new characters were introduced, and we got some time with some old characters, and I absolutely loved all of them. I don't know, it was like the pacing was a little bit weird in this book. I think that was like one of the reasons I'm not giving it 5 stars. Like I was getting so close to the end, like 100 pages from the end, and I felt like, how is this possibly going to wrap up? So many things that I had been waiting for such a long time still hadn't happened that I knew were going to happen for this to wrap up. So it was a little bit weird in that sense, but yeah, so the ending was a little bit convenient, but I still loved it nonetheless. Like it was so fun. It was so good. I love these characters and I'm obsessed with this world. Like Robin Hobb makes you care so much about the characters and about like the lore of the world in general. And I've heard that all of her different series are all like set in this world. And the next series is the Live Ship Trader series, which I think starts with the Magic Ship, maybe. I forget what the name of the first book is, but I'm absolutely dying to start that trilogy. So hopefully I will be getting those books soon and starting them soon. I've also been reading this series with my boyfriend, which has been a ton of fun to buddy read it with him and get to talk about our thoughts. It has honestly just made the experience so much richer, and it's an incredible fantasy series. Classic fantasy, can't say enough good things about it. I loved it. Then my next 4 star was In the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy. And this is a pretty new romantasy book. And it's been a little bit since I've read like a straight up romantasy. I haven't super been in the mood for it, to be honest. But I'm so glad I read this one. What drew me to it is that it is siren romantasy. Our main character, Imogen, is a siren, and she comes from a kingdom where sirens are hated and hunted down and killed. And so she has to keep her identity secret. and she is the ward of the king in this world, who's quite cruel. So she has a pretty rough life, but in the beginning, she is set to be married to the commander of the army. Stuff kind of goes awry, and this doesn't happen. Instead, she enlists the help of a rival king, Theodore, to help her escape to his kingdom where sirens are not threatened. And of course, her and Theodore have some feelings for each other that they can't act on. They do have to do a little journey together. And Theodore is also supposed to be getting engaged and getting married. So there's, a lot of tropes in this. It's very tropey for sure. But it was really fun, and the chemistry was definitely there. The yearning was there. And I really enjoyed just the world building and like the magic, and the siren and coastal aspects gave it like a unique, fresh touch. And I would say it was all done very well. It was definitely one of the more fun books I read this month. It made me want to keep turning the pages to see what happened next. And I am excited to read the second book. It is coming out, I think, this summer or this early fall. I think summer. And I'm like never this on top of a series. So that is very exciting for me. I cannot wait to continue it. Can you guys tell that I'm very caffeinated today? I think I need to start drinking more caffeine, like literally right before I film, and do it on like a good day. Because I feel like sometimes I just am like tired so much of the time, but I feel great right now. Like I'm having a very good day, and I'm like, this is the perfect time to film. I feel so much chattier. Then my last 4-star book of the month was The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, the first volume. This is by Beth Brower, and I have been hearing some hype about this online. I think I heard Katie's Reading was talking about it in one of her recent vlogs. She's reading this series, and I feel like I heard it elsewhere as well. But it is on Kindle Unlimited, so that's how I found it to check it out. It's a very unique series. I think there's a lot of books in this series. I'm not sure how many are out right now, but they're very short, very quick. It took me like 2 days to get through this first book. I'm sure you could read it in one day if you had more time to read than I did that day. But essentially, we're following Emma M. Lyon, and this is like a historical fiction. She is living in, I think, the late 1800s. I'm always so bad about timing and like knowing the time periods. I like do not pay enough attention. But anyhow, she is set to be inheriting this estate in London, but since she's under 21, it is being controlled by basically someone else who is supposed to act in her estate, who is not like a direct family member. I think they were like married to her distant relative or something like that. And he basically sucks. He's the worst. And so she's going there for the summer to live in the house until she turns 21 and gets her inheritance of being able to own this house. And she is quite the character. This book, I would say, is majority vibes, not plot. We are following like her daily diary entries. She's hysterical. It's like very silly, goofy, so you definitely have to enjoy that. It's not serious at all. And she's just like making fun of this guy who controls her estate, and then like talking about the little things she does each day, talking about the things she likes to do, her neighborhood. It's very like meandering, but it's just so good and it's so addictive and fun. I think I'll definitely continue this, but it probably won't be like a high priority series for me, but like kind of filler in between, because it's just so fun. This would like definitely get you out of a reading slump, in my opinion. Then the only book I gave 4.5 stars this month was The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. I feel like this book has been on fire lately. It is so hyped up, so I had to get to it. And I have been feeling like this is medieval girl spring, and I feel like this fit those vibes. We have like a female knight on the cover, and I am so happy to report that I really liked it. I was like bordering on 5 stars, but I just had a couple little tiny issues with it, so it's gonna be 4.5. But it was so good. Basically, we're following Gray, and she is a well, which means she is a power source, but she can't do magic herself. She has to be paired with a mage. And the mage that she is paired up with in the army, his name is Kier. And Gray and Kier actually grew up together. Gray was orphaned and then was taken in by this woman who in turn was also taken in by Kier's family. So they all kind of grew up in like the same area together nearby. And so they are childhood friends to now working together in the military. And this position of being a well and mage forces them to be extremely close in such close proximity. And of course, Gray has feelings for Kier, and she doesn't know how to act on them or what to say, but she's so in love with him, and it's just the freaking cutest thing ever. Their yearning is incredible, but I also feel like this book does a really good job of having the fantasy and the magic having an equally strong presence as the romance. Like the romance is definitely there, but I feel like the world really takes a lot of precedence too. So in this world, we are in this like group of warring kingdoms basically, and there was this island called Locke, and the ruling family, their last name was Locke. This is island is like the source of magic. Their family is the source of all magic in this like area. When Gray and Kier were children, this island was attacked and burned down, and the whole family perished, except it is thought that at least one child survived and escaped, because otherwise no one would be able to do magic in this realm. So they are sent on a mission to try to find the lost child of Locke. And so they have to go on this journey together. There's really good side characters. It's honestly phenomenal. And there were just teeny tiny things that kept it from being a 5 star for me. It was honestly such a fun time and nearly perfect. So I would absolutely recommend this. Who knows? This might be one that as I sit on it, I might even like it more. So I shall think about it. But I think the next book is coming out later this year, and it's going to be like different characters in the same world, which I'm very excited about as well. All right, my only 5 star of the month of May was Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. And I had been so excited to get to this because I heard that this was addiction horror, which I have never read before. And a lot of my friends here on YouTube have recommended this book to me. And I'm happy to report that I absolutely loved it. And this was the best horror book I've read in quite a while, I would say. Basically, in this book, we are following Erin. And Erin, when she was in college, had this group of friends. And it was kind of led by this ringleader, Silas. He is like one of those guys that just like will do anything and wants to do anything just for an experience, you know? So he was like getting the whole group to try different drugs and like break into different places and things like that. And Aaron and Silas had this kind of on and off again relationship. Then into the future, they have like kind of lost contact a little bit, but she finds out that he has passed away. And so she's obviously in grief over this. So it's like grief horror as well. And then she finds out that Silas and one of her other friends had discovered this drug called Ghost, which they were creating out of these mushrooms. And Ghost basically allows you to reach this like hallucinogenic state where you can like see and speak with the dead. So Erin gets involved in trying this so that she can seek out Silas in the afterlife, and she becomes quickly addicted and wrapped up more and more in this world of Ghost because she wants so badly to be able to communicate with Silas again. And this is, I thought, really well done on addiction and grief. Like, I don't know. I would say, like, if you have any sort of like personal experience with addiction, I would be perhaps cautious going into this book, just depending on your comfort level of reading about that. But I think it was done so well. Like it felt extremely realistic. It got me so sucked in. I could not stop reading it. The horror was really well done. It kind of crept in slowly and then got more and more terrifying and supernatural. And the ending just was perfect, in my opinion. I just absolutely love this. Can't say enough good things about it. I've never read anything else by this author. I definitely will look into his other books because this was so good. And yeah, I couldn't recommend this enough. So if you are a horror reader, please read Ghost Eaters. It was so good. It even surpassed my expectations, and I had high expectations to begin with, to be honest. So I feel like that was pretty impressive. So those are the 8 books that I read in the month of May. Please let me know down below what your favorite book that you read in May was, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.